Part 2. I was starting to think that you had forgotten about me, Isaac quipped as he pulled into a parking lot near the Burlington waterfront. Simply dressed in an army green cotton loose jogger tactical cargo pants with a black wife beater showing toned arms, Nike sliders on his feet with basketball socks completing his attire. Kendra thought it was sexy, his slightly bow legs giving her a vibe. Well, good things come to those who wait, she bantered. Wearing a summer dress with gladiator sandals to welcome the light warmth of May, a denim jacket to keep the coolness at bay, she felt comfortable. Kendra felt like she was in good company, Isaac's personality somewhat intoxicating. You're funny, he teased. Turning off the ignition and emerging from the car, Isaac made his way to the passenger side to open Kendra's door. Extending his hand, she took it and got out the car, the door closing behind her. Shall we? We shall, she smiled. The duo made their way to walk along the seashore, several visitors also basking in the salty air that came from the ocean's abyss. The Sunday afternoon was perfect, Kendra feeling free as they walked towards the pier. They were getting to know each other, and it felt refreshing for her. Isaac's energy felt positive, and positivity was always welcome. The ebbing of the waves against the pillars that held the pier made her feel queasy inside, the motion having her anxious. Isaac noticed her changed demeanor, a quirky look forming on his face out of curiosity. Something the matter? He asked, taking her hand. Kendra was deep in her thoughts, 1,000 scenarios convoluting on her mind. What if the pillars collapsed? She could not swim. She was a dead-ass coward, still, here she was, many feet over dark blue waters on a pier. You're a little wuss, he bantered. The brave Kenny is not so brave after all. You're one to talk, she snickered, playfully shoving him away. Isaac burst into laughter, tears of joy welling in his eyes. Don't worry, I'll save you if you fall in, he said as he caught his breath. Let's go, I have a surprise for you. Kendra tilted her head to one side, curiosity now developing. What in God's name was he up to, she thought. There were many questions on her mind, things she was yearning to know. There was little she knew about this man, yet she was in his company. 2 weeks had passed since they'd first met, this their first meeting since that morning he dropped her home in late April. Today would be the day she learned about the man she observed from behind her phone screen, the man whose laughter was contagious and made her smile. Part 3. Kendra was fond of the longer days, getting more done seemingly exciting. She had spent the entire Sunday evening with Isaac. His big surprise was to introduce her to his friends, as his girlfriend. Herself getting caught up in his ridiculousness. Was he for real? Her notion was to shut him down right there and then, but alas, the heart on her sleeve girl went along with it. She was never one to embarrass a person in front of others, but she would discuss his audaciousness later in privacy. We've heard so much about you, Jacob remarked, his deep African accent booming. This guy said, he'd found his wife, he had continued, enthusiasm in his voice. An approving smile then formed on his lips. The absurdity of it all, Kendra thought. Forcing a smile, she spoke politely, appearing unscathed. I see, she recalled saying, an unseen smirk forming on her face. While the evening unfolded, Isaac and Jacob had rounds of liquor to drink, boisterous laughter overlapping the room while Kendra interacted with Jacob's wife Leah and son Joey. Do you have children? Leah questioned. She was amused at how well Kendra interacted with Joey. He was usually a shy kid, but for some reason, he was taken to the stranger. No, I don't, Kendra replied politely, but I love children. No rush, you're still young, Leah supplied. Besides, if you and Isaac are really serious, at least you'll have 4 already. Kendra's frame became rigid where she sat, the blood flowing through her veins halted. 4 kids. She was in shock, but most of all, Isaac had lied to her. During their conversations driving back from the pier, the subject had come up. His assurance that he was a father of 2, both children residing with their mothers. Kendra felt betrayed, however. She decided to hold her composure. A huge red flag had just popped up, one that would not be allowed to fly. The vibration of her phone pulled her from her thoughts, 25 missed calls registered on the screen, 25 new voice messages accompanying. Isaac was not for today, neither was he for tomorrow. The brakes were back on this cycle of her life. 2 weeks had passed since the Burlington trip. Kendra had been avoiding Isaac ever since she found out that he had lied to her. This was a hard pill to swallow, because not only had he lied to her, but he was trying to make it seem as though he had done nothing wrong. "Please talk to me," his voice pleaded over the final voice message she listened. "I am terribly sorry for lying to you, Kenny." His voice paused. "I love you," she finally heard him say. Kendra's mouth fell open before she erupted into laughter. A crackle first escaped, followed by an uncontrollable fit. Isaac was living in dreamland, a fantasy no less. Maybe it was time for her to block him on all platforms. She didn't see this getting any better, and one lie would only lead to a next. Wow. Things between Kendra and Isaac just took a whole 360. What are your thoughts? Should she forgive Isaac? What would you do in said situation? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and please don't forget to like, share and subscribe.